Nobody grinds like us. The network, the DVD, the radio station. Y'all know we support the grind, we promote the grind, and we grind. So check out the artists. This is the industry.
Nobody grinds like us. We here sitting with
BPhatz, aka Mr. Bigman.
What's happening with you, man?
Everything is love, brother. Everything is love. I appreciate you having me.
No problem, man. You done took a drive down from Columbia, come to Charleston and chop it up with us.
That's right.
Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, like I said, this is BPhatz, aka Mr. Bigman. I've been a musical artist from Columbia, South Carolina for the past 15 years. I had a nice run back in like 05, 06, 07. Kind of jumped off the scenes and kind of got into a little bit of the acting. And right now, if you ain't know, man, if you've been living on another planet, right now it's Columbia, USA, the #1 web series in the world. I play a character that goes by the name of Richard Bigman. Most people know him as Mr. Bigman. And right now we're sitting on about 30 million views combined. So it's been good. It's all love.
No doubt. So we're going to start from the beginning, man. Tell the people, like, why you started doing music.
My musical journey starts ever since Big Daddy Kane dropped Smooth Operator video. It was like, I don't know, it was that feeling of nostalgia, you know what I mean? I saw that video and I was like instantly like, yo, this is what I want to be. This is what I want to do. And it's always been an outlet to let out those lifelong feelings, you know what I'm saying? The shit we go through, you know, in everyday life, and you know, I mean, everybody know the struggle is real. So music has always been an outlet for me to get those pressures out. You know what I mean?
No doubt, no doubt. So I know a lot of people, man, that started off doing music back in the day who kind of just stopped. So what was your reasoning for keeping it going, or did you keep it going?
Well, I think, you know, it's life, you know what I'm saying? You know, as you get older in the game, and, you know, most people that's really serious about this grind, they understand this is not an overnight grind. You know, nothing, you know, no real success comes overnight. And the bigger the struggle, the bigger the success. But, you know, when life hits you, you know, it's, you know, you got mouths to feed, you got kids to raise, you know, things like that. So I sort of put my dreams to the side for my children's dreams. And I never did really let go totally. For about a 4 or 5 year period, I was just a lab rat. I just recorded a lot of music. And if anybody know anything about music, you know what I'm saying, it ain't like it's milk, it don't spoil, you know what I'm saying? What's old to me is new to you, you know? And I just kind of stayed close. I always said I wanted to be involved in the entertainment business some kind of way. So I just kind of stayed close to it. I never just let it drop, you know what I'm saying? And right now, that's what we're doing right now. We're actually taking that music off the shelf and releasing it right now. So
dope. So one of the things that I feel like kind of held back the older generation of artists is they used to keep everything on the shelf. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Was you?
True.
You seemed like you were a victim of that.
True. I was definitely a victim. I actually was a serious victim. A quick story. When I first came out, and a lot of artists that started back in the day or what have you, they know about disc makers. Disc makers was one of the biggest CD duplication companies at the time. They kind of forecasted and saw the wave of digital distribution coming. So when you had a project printed out by disc makers, they automatically kind of got you ready for that wave. And just like you said, a victim, I stayed in the lab, kept it on the shelf, and really didn't pay attention to the wave. And what ended up happening was here, it was like almost 10 years later, I just so happened to dig back into my accounts and kind of dig back into my history and found out that I was sitting on iTunes for like the last 5 years and didn't even know it, because they had already prepared us for that digital wave. But because, just like you said, you know, you fall a victim of sitting everything on the shelf and not paying attention to the wave and kind of like giving up a little bit too early, you know, that's what happened. But then when I realized, oh no, you know, I kind of almost missed this wave. I got to get back on it. You know what I mean?
No doubt, no doubt. So, tell the people a little bit about your style, man. Like,
it's only one BPhatz. I mean, that's the best way for me to describe myself. I've been compared to others. If I had to classify a style, just like I said, you know, the artist that inspired me to do this was Big Daddy Kane. And if you understand Big Daddy Kane's style, he was like the first rapper that was hard, but he still had a side for the ladies. So he represented that dual, you know, that dual, you know what I'm saying, style. So if I had to compare myself to anybody, it would probably be him or Rose. I like Ross. You know, I do grown folk hip hop. You know what I mean? That's the best way to kind of describe it.
no doubt, that makes sense, man. And with the emergence of the Columbia series, you know, like a lot of artists now are doing shows, they hosting things, all of that. So do you feel like playing that character motivated you, and do you feel like it's going to put you in a position with your music?
In all honesty, playing that character, it gave me no choice. Columbia is for real, people. It is for real. I've been, you know, outside of South Carolina. I've been to Virginia. I've been to Florida. I've been to different places, and people recognize me. I get stopped on the street all the time. I get stopped enough that people would think I was getting a big bag from Columbia right now. So it kind of put me in a corner where I don't have a choice. You know what I'm saying? I'm popular. Shout out to everybody on the Columbia crew, man. The whole cast, Charles Mills, man. I mean, that show pretty much rebirthed my popularity. So do I think? No, I mean, it don't have a choice. It's a rocket right now, and it don't have no signs of slowing down. So yeah, I definitely see that being able to cross over into my music and kind of help me remarket myself.
It's dope what you said. You said, you know, a lot of people recognize you to the point where they feel like you already got that bag. So that's an interesting perspective, because for artists, that's been going on for a while. You get your song played on the radio, people figure you already signed, you already got bread. So how has that affected you, you know, dealing with that on music and film end?
In all honesty, because I'm a little older and I'm a little seasoned, so it really don't affect me at all. Most people catch me off guard when they're doing that, because I've learned that I never forget that B.I.G. said the key to staying successful in this is treating everything like your first project. Even when I'm on the set of Columbia, when I do a role or I do a scene, when I leave that, I give everything that I got to that scene. But when I leave that scene, it's on to something else. You know, I never get caught up into the, I don't know if you want to call it the fame or the glam. I never get caught up into that side of it, because it seems that most of the artists nowadays, that's the side that they get caught into, and they think that this is what it's about. And I'm here to tell you, brother, I mean, you got the perfect name. Nobody grinds like this. If you think that you're gonna get any success from this by looking like the star first and not doing the work that a star does, man, you can forget. You gotta grind. It's you know, if you afford yourself to get caught up into what I like to call local fame, I mean, like, think about it. It's those two words don't even go together. It's like it's no such thing as local fame. So it's a constant grind. You know, when you do one project, come to that project the same way, leave that project the same way that you came, hungry for another. So that's what keep me grounded. I don't really, it don't bother me at all. I see the people shake hands and I'm on to the next.
Yeah, man, it's dope. It makes sense. Do you have little ones? I know you said.
Yeah, man. I'm a super duper dad, man. That's why I'm here. You know what I'm saying?
So how do they feel about the fame that they see Dad?
my oldest is 22. She kind of like laughs about it every now and again. My son is 15. He gets it a whole lot more because he's like in that generation that kind of, watches Columbia. So like he plays football right now. Even one of his coaches is an avid fan of it. So when they found out it was him, it was like, oh, you Mr. Bigman's son. And, so they get a lot of it. And my youngest is 5. She noticed it like when me and her mom, we're all together as a family or whatever, and I get stopped in public. She kind of knows. She's kind of like, but Daddy's popular, or Daddy's on TV or whatever. But that's about how far I go. And every now and again, I might hear my son. In the mornings he getting ready, he like to pump his music. He might have Pops on the playlist or something, in the morning. So that's always dope to see something like that.
Yeah, man. And just from a artist, from a South Carolina standpoint, because that's where Nobody Grinds came from.
Yeah.
It came from the fact that we've been grinding in the state like forever, and ain't nobody got that big deal yet. But we still grinding. So all these other places, even Alabama, done had somebody come out. Yeah. So they got a goal, they got a post where they can say, one person made it out doing this music. Right. With us, we just grinding like we ain't grinding like nobody else. Like we ain't seen it yet, but we still grinding. So nobody grinds like us.
I agree 100%.
And the just looking at that aspect of things, to see an artist of your caliber still out here going into another generation, where do you feel your music fits with the younger generation and your generation?
Well, I think when you're doing music, you want to drop what they call timeless and classic material. But at the same time, if you're going to be relevant, you have to kind of pay attention to the trend. You got to kind of have to pay attention to the attention span of the younger generation. That's why my last project is an EP. It's only 6 tracks. The attention span is different. Our generation, it was something. It was a different feeling to go to the CD store, to go to the tape store, to buy that album, to rip off that spine and look at all the credits and the fold out, and what I'm saying, if somebody dropped a 10-track album, you was like, wait, what is this? You know what I mean? I need 16 tracks. It's a different feel. So if you're going to be an artist and you're going to be relevant today, you gotta pay attention to the trend. But at the same time, you don't have to conform to it. You still got some of the OGs that's dropping material right now, and they ain't necessarily picking up the same cadences as the Migos or, picking up these new cadences. They're not, you know what I mean? The tracks may be still the same fire, but the lyricism and the way they deliver is the same. So I don't think you have to conform. I just think you got to pay attention to the trends,
And that's why I asked that question, because it seems like they're moving back to our era of music anyway.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, it seems like this would be the perfect time for an artist that grew up in the 80s, 90s, and was putting out music and was making that sound like, Pac, Big, Snoop, to actually come out and just kill right now.
Yeah. I think in all honesty, I think J. Cole is a poster child for that. I mean, if you look at Cole's style, it's a beat, it's him, and it's lyricism. That's it. It's no heavy ad libs. There's no a whole lot of fabrication in the production. I mean, a lot of these guys are laying tracks and leaving it for the engineer to spice these things up and put in all these effects to fill up the track. But I mean, you look at an artist like Cole, or some of these artists that are still just 16 bars a track, my gut in the mic, in my helmet, in my headset. You know what I'm saying? And you can feel that. You know what I'm saying? You can feel that. And I definitely think that it's being respected more with the younger generation. We call it lyricism. The younger generation adopted bars. You know what I'm saying? Just a different just a different term, but meaning the same thing. So, you know, even the younger generation now are looking for bars. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it makes us relevant, no doubt.
Yeah, man. I like picking the brain, you know what I'm saying? Because you done had a lot of life, you done a lot of things and still current.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of new artists can't figure out a way to keep the attention span and stay current. So what would you tell an artist that's trying to do this music and trying to stay current and going through what we went through during our time and trying to create music?
The number one thing that I tell any artist is to understand that what you see on YouTube and what the social media displays in today's rappers are the finished product. You have to understand that you have to get there, and that finished product, it went through some turmoil, it went through some struggle, it was broken, it was broke, it slept on couches, it turned down opportunities. It was late to an interview because the police was behind you and you was speeding, and I mean it's all kind of things that go into getting to that finished product, and you have to be willing to be forged in the fire to get to that product. You got to understand that the bigger the sacrifice, the bigger the success. The other thing I would say is that be a student of your craft. You know, don't think that because you heard an artist say it took them 15 minutes to do a song, that's the way that you need to do every song. One thing that really kind of like gets underneath my skin, and one of the reasons that I kind of backed away was that, you know, I noticed so many rappers getting on so easily and having this no grind, like no work ethic, no, you know, I slept in studios. You know what I'm saying? I've been to sleep with the headset on and woke up with it on. You know what I'm saying? And this is, you know, I would tell anybody in any craft, perfect your craft first, and then get the things that come with it. You know?
No doubt. Like musically, you've gotten to the point where the world is going to be able to receive you.
Most definitely. I've always felt that way. I always felt that I was good enough to be able to motivate a crowd or to gain listeners. I've always felt that I had a unique voice, unique sound. I think that's another thing. You know, Guru had that song back in the day called "The Voice." You know, if you ain't got that voice and that delivery, it's a little different. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I always thought I was decent enough to do that.
I don't know, man, because when you talk, like you can hear like almost a wealth of knowledge like trying to come out. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this generation is kind of yearning for that type of music. So are you recording new things, or are you just releasing from the vault?
Right now, I am releasing from the vault. However, and not to give too much, but I do have a all new project on the books right now. I've already started soliciting for tracks and production. So, yeah, that's probably gonna be coming 2020. I'm gonna say the summer of 2020. Something brand new, straight from the gut. I guess I've been inspired. You know what I'm saying? I've really been inspired. And even though I have, you know, plenty of material in the vault, when you get new inspiration, you got to drop new music. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of new inspiration, man, I knew you just dropped a new EP.
No doubt.
No, you got the singles out.
Yes,
so
sir.
Tell the people what can they expect from the EP and the singles that you just put out.
Right now, the EP is entitled "Buck Back." I'll get into more about the title later, but the EP is called "Buck Back." It is available on all download streaming platforms: Tidal, Spotify, Apple Music is everywhere. We're gonna roll with 2 singles. Both singles were produced by the super producer Super Mario. Shout out to Mario, man. I love you, man. If you know anything about Mario, he just landed on Drake's Grammy smashing album. He did Ice Melts with Drake and Young Thug and also some other things out there. But the 2 singles are called Head in the Clouds and She Want a Boss. So make sure you go get those, please.
How do you feel about the emergence of the super producers coming out of South Carolina, man?
Real talking, I ain't gonna say this because I'm Carolina to the day I die. But who had a bigger year in music in the last 2 years than the Carolinas? I mean, let's just be real about it. And for a long time, we have been shaking the ground very silently for a long time. I mean, a long time. Everybody down here should know about Mr. Taylor. I mean, Pacino. I mean, are you serious? You know what I'm saying? So we've been shaking the ground for a long time. Chill, the super producer Chill, 2 Chainz scooped them up and had him at street execs just banging stuff out. Like I said, Super Mario, Jetson. I mean, the Carolinas, we are here. We've been here. And please believe the reason why it's taking us so long is because when we snatch the game, you're not getting it back. Period.
I like the fact that you said the Carolinas, right? Because a lot of people, like, I hear people giving the baby flack. They'd be like, oh, before he got signed, it was the Carolinas. Now that he signed, it's North Carolina. Now, I ain't never heard that, but I hear people talk about it. So what's your feelings on the Carolinas repping together or repping separately?
I think it's a must that we rep together. And the reason why I say that is because when you look at South Carolina and you look at North Carolina as 2 separate entities, we're not big. I mean, you know, the area is not big. It's not a lot of people. I mean, you know as well as I know, you know, our artists from New York can drop tomorrow and sell 1 million records just in New York. It's not that way, you know what I'm saying? This is the mud down here, you know what I'm saying? And if we don't come together and, you know, work off one another, we're never going to emerge as that powerhouse that we can be. And I mean, for anybody that's gonna say that it needs to be rep separately, it's like, dude, Charlotte 30 minutes away from us. You know what I'm saying? 45 minutes away from us. Shout out to AJ Lee, one of the engineers that worked on the Baby album. He actually engineered my last like 10, 15 tracks. He worked out of Audio Box Studios in Charlotte. So I've actually, my last couple projects have been recorded in that same studio. We work together. I mean, it's North Carolina, South Carolina. What do you mean? It's the Carolinas, baby. It is what it is.
No doubt. How do you feel about terrestrial radio like FM opposed to the internet and streaming?
FM radio, I mean, if you know anything about real music, most of your artists, real music, don't even get on FM radio. Like, it ain't even, like, wouldn't like some of the artists that they like if they didn't dig and find the real music. Radio, like what I like to call in your face radio or just that straight just radio play is not, it's picked and choose. It's for singles, it's for pop, it's for I mean, it's the glamour, you know what I'm saying? Independent radio or internet radio, it's the same. I mean, it's the same thing as the internet. It's uncensored. It's that real. It's that gut. It's where a lot of things come from. It's the broken house. It's back in the, to me, internet radio gets compared to the strip club back in the day. And you know what I'm talking about. If your record was gonna get broke, that's where it's gonna get broke at. If you from the South and you got a hot record, your record ain't never getting broke on the radio, cut. Your record getting broke in the booty house. It is what it is. And to this day, they still breaking records. Man, Magic City, King, they still breaking records to this day. So, nah, I ain't never really felt like I had to break my neck to get my stuff on, glass radio.
Yeah, man. I feel like I'm picking your brain right now because I feel like you got a wealth of knowledge that our audience could get, man. And
Real talk, and I don't mean to cut you off, but real spill. My first single was broken on internet radio in Virginia.
Word.
My first single was broken on internet radio in Virginia. So, and I had a nice little run in Virginia for a minute.
So what's next for you, man?
In all honesty, man, I love the acting, man. I love the acting. I love playing the role on Columbia. It's very creative, and I pull it off pretty good, I think. I would like to delve more into the acting. Like I said, it's going to be a brand new project coming 2020. Right now, we're set to release again next quarter another EP that's coming from the vault. So right now, man, it's nobody grinds like me. That's the way I feel about it right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm a rocket, man. I ain't planning on slowing down. It is what it is.
Yeah, man. I think the people need to hear you. I think the music is dope.
Appreciate
I think you really got a real message. You ever thought about doing like a podcast or something like that where you speaking?
I get that a lot. I've been told that my story is interesting. Matter of fact, speaking of that, that's how the title of the EP is called. But back in 2017, I was shot in attempted armed robbery. Guys tried to rob me. I wasn't having it, and I got hit in my upper thigh. Got hit in the main artery, the femoral artery, and it was. I wasn't thought to be able to recover like I recovered. And Eric Thomas, the motivational speaker, he always has this thing where he say, man, when life come at you like that, some people let it get the best of them, and other people buck back. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta buck back. You know what I mean? And that's just my whole drive right now. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. You know, I've often I've played with the idea of a book several times, and I definitely think that's gonna come, longer down the road. But yeah, that's definitely something I want to get into later on.
No doubt. Well, listen, we appreciate your time, man. Tell
No
the people where they can find you online.
Find me everywhere. Instagram, BPhatz, that BPhatz. Instagram, Twitter, 803 BPhatz. I'm about to say MySpace. You know I've been grinding for a long time. I was about to say MySpace, for real. Facebook, Brandon BPhatz Chapman. And anywhere where you see Columbia, USA, I can be found. Make sure y'all check that out. It's on YouTube. We drop a new episode the first of every month. That's Columbia, USA, KILLUMBIA, USA.
No doubt, man. On this network, we represent the grind. So tell the people who you are and tell them that nobody grinds like us.
This is your boy, Brandon BPhatz Chapman, a.k.a. Mr. Bigman. Nobody grinds like us.